Any answers? No? Poor thing. I do it because I am following my previous khulafa. Up to Hazrat Masih Maud al-Islam, let's say. We know Rasulullah Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also wore some sort of turban, but we have not seen it. We have not any recorded version of exactly how it looked like. So we can't imitate it because descriptions vary and we don't know exactly how the turban was. But we know the turban Hazrat Masih Maud al-Islam wore. This was generally of this style. It's not essential that you must copy it letter for letter. So I saw my father wearing a turban like this, and I saw my elder brother, who was a caliph before me, wearing a turban like this. So I also started doing it. But apart from that, when I was a young boy, in my 9th class or metric in those days, I remember I started wearing a turban at that period too. And I continued to wear it till my 2nd year or 3rd year in college. And then I found it very difficult to maintain it. It's not easy to maintain a turban, to wash it every week, 2 or 3 turbans, and then to put starch, apply starch, and then to have it, dried up. And you also need a larger house with open courtyard. So it's very difficult dress to maintain. So I gave it up. But when I became a caliph, then I had to do that because I saw the tradition of the khulafa who wore turbans before me. Right?
Assalamu alaikum, Hazur.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Why do we have religions like Sunni, Shia and Ahmadi?
Why do we, I think he's asking, why do we have sects in Islam of Sunni, Shia and Ahmadi?
Why do we have sects? Is that right? You said sects? I missed that word, yes, sorry. You see, the sects are born when a scholar in any religion begins to differ in the interpretation of the religion from the rest of his fellow followers of the same religion. And when a scholar has some influence, of course he has some following of his own. So that is how the sects come to be born. To begin with, all religions are one and the same, singular in their character. At the time of Rasulullah there were no sects. At the time of the first 4 caliphs, there were no sects, because Islam was united under one banner of leadership, and Islam had one single center of authority to control affairs. When that the center was broken and scattered, then different centers were created. There was no single authority to enforce one understanding of or to safeguard one understanding of religion. Some scholars came to be born who thought this verse means this, not that which others believe. So he invented a new sect. Some other was born in his sect and said, well, he was right then, but not in everything. We believe he made a mistake here and there and there. So we believe this is what Islam should be. So it is a difference of understandings which results into creation of sects. Sometimes they are also politically motivated, and they are created intentionally to gain some political ends. Okay? Thank you. And the last but not least, as they say, yes please. Who's your father, by the way?
Fazl Sahib, he's sitting right there.
Oh, the Fazl Sahib, okay.
I'd like to ask, was Jesus' birthday on the really?
What is?
Was Jesus' birthday really on the 25th?
Jesus' birthday? No, I got it, yes. Was Jesus' birthday the 25th of December? Is that the question? No, it wasn't. And now all the big Christian scholars, not all, but most of the Christian scholars now begin to realize that the birthday was certainly different from what they celebrate. Because this period of celebration has a pagan tradition. And the style in which they celebrate Christmas is also borrowed from various nationalistic and pagan traditions. The celebration of Christmas have in fact no relationship with Jesus whatsoever. Because it's not his birthday, it's not the Christian message which is being translated into some joyful expressions. It is pagan practices which are being repeated. So it is just an event of celebration and drinking and making accidents after drinking, driving and so on. There is nothing more to it, right? Any other question? Or food? You know what question means in Urdu? Yes, what is it? Stand up and tell me. Sawal. So, have you ever heard of ek roti ka sawal hai? Huh? What does it mean? Sawal is a question, also it means begging. So when a beggar says, could I have a roti please? A piece of bread please? He says, a roti ka sawal hai. I am begging for one roti. So I feel all of you are begging for a roti, aren't you? It's getting late for dinner, right? Alright, so we say prayer together and then we disperse. Will you serve food here?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't disturb them, disperse them. So you can keep sitting and the food will come to you very soon after I have left, okay? आमीन। अच्छा ज़्यादा हो गया। अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाह।